Hej, og velkommen til min strikkepodcast. Welcome to my knitting podcast. Jeg vil lige sige et par ord på engelsk, og så kommer jeg lige tilbage på dansk. I will say a little introduction in Danish to Danish viewers, and I'll be back shortly in English. One moment. Ja, det er en lidt mærkelig opstart for mig her i dag. Jeg tænker lige, at jeg vil lave en kort introduktion på dansk, fordi at hvis du er ny her, og du er dansker, eller forstår dansk, så tænker du måske, at min podcast skulle være på dansk. Men min podcast her er på engelsk, og det er ligesom den måde, det kom til at starte ud på i sin tid. Og nu har jeg fået nogle engelske seere, så jeg tænker, jeg må hellere holde fast ved den facon. Men hvis du er ny her, så kan du forvente en masse anderledes strik og farverigt strik. Jeg er nok ikke den typiske nordiske strikker, og strikker også lidt bare på egen hånd. Så jeg håber, du har lyst til at blive hængende og se, hvad jeg har at byde på. Og så vil jeg ellers gå over til engelsk igen, som jeg plejer. Men velkommen til i hvert fald. Yes, that was just a short introduction to some potential new Danish viewers. So let's get started on this podcast. This podcast is number 9, and today I will be talking about a lot of different things. So it's quite hard for me to find a topic, but I will go through some of the things that I have planned. I have a really big plan, as it turns out, and I'm also quite nervous. Maybe I should start by saying that I'm not home alone today. My husband is home and my daughter is home because of the corona, and so it's really awkward for me to make this podcast, but I hope I will relax when I get a bit used to it. But today I want to talk about a little about the Fanø knitting festival coming up this September. This is one that I plan to attend, but we don't know if it's going to be held at this point of time. So I will talk a little about that, and then I have attended a Nancy Marchant online course about Briyoke. Talk about that, and also since the last time I had this podcast, I have become a Testknitter for Stephen West, and I want to talk a little about that. Then I will go through some of my projects, finished projects, and the ones I'm currently working on. Then I also want to talk a little about some recommendations I have. That's kind of a common theme for my podcast by this time, that I have some recommendations. And I also, of course, have a quote for today. That's also one that has become an event that I have in every podcast. So, of course, I have to have one here as well. Then I also have planned a giveaway, and I will come to that at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned for that. Or maybe I will put it in the middle. Let's see what happens. Yes. So a lot of different things is going on today. So just to begin with, I have planned on talking a little about what's going on here in Denmark. We are also affected by this coronavirus, and but we are not guaranteed in that sense that we have to stay home. But we are recommended to stay home if we are able to, and many work from home if they're able to, and many of kids have been home. But after Easter, they started to open a bit up again. We have had some falling, like how many people who has been in the hospital has been less and less. And so they have started to open up a bit again. So last Thursday, and today it's Thursday, so a week ago, my youngest daughter started back in school. She's in 5th grade, and but school is very different now. They have to be 2 meters apart, and that means that most classes has been divided into more than one classroom to be able to do that. And also they have one day outside each week, and she is doing really well. She was really looking forward to getting back to seeing her friends again. I'm a bit worried though, not that about her getting the disease, but more that if she brings it with her into our house. My husband has a heart condition. The doctor says it doesn't really has to be. He's not in the risk group, but when you have people close to you, you get a bit worried. But so far, I think it works out very well. They wash their hands all the time, and they learn to stay apart. And yeah, she's come home like the second day of school, and her hands were really red because of all the hand washing. And yeah, and my oldest daughter, she's in 9th grade and is about to end her the primary school that we have here in Denmark. And she had some exams to attend, but they have canceled all that. And but she's doing really good. I think she kind of enjoys being home, but she sometimes get outside and go for walks and meet with her friends, and that's a really good way to stay connected to your social life. So yeah, she's doing really good. And as I said, my husband is home too. He's able to work from home full time. So yeah, the whole family home. And as you have heard me say before, sometimes it feels hard for me to have them all around me all the time, because of I'm on this. I have stress. I have this burned out condition in my head. So if there are too much noise or disturbance, that wears me out. But it's been actually really nice having them home. You get into a habit real soon with being together, and it's actually been really nice that you don't have to stress to go to all these activities after school and whatever you go to. I miss though that I can go and swim, especially as a knitter. I enjoy moving my shoulders when I swim, so that kind of loosens my muscles. But yeah, but all in all, we're really good here, and my parents are healthy, and my husband's parents are healthy, and my brother and my sister-in-law are healthy, and they are. So all in all, we are fortunate that things are going well with us. Yes, I think that was the situation. But yeah, just before the whole coronavirus started, and I talked about this in my last podcast, I was going to my mom's birthday. She turned 75, and I had planned on gifting her a Texturetime cardigan that I knitted 1.5 years ago. She really likes that and knows how much work I have put into it. So yeah, she was in tears when I gave it to her, and that was amazing. If you haven't seen my Texturetime cardigan, I will put in some pictures here so you can see how it looks. And also, if you want to know more about how I knitted this sweater, I talk a lot about it in episode 2, so I can recommend you to go back to this episode and see it. Yes, and I should also tell what I'm wearing today. And this is also one that I talked about before in episode 4. It's a self-design. I call it the Bobble top. It's got it's knitted up from top down. I started with a brioche ribbon or color, I think it's called, or yoke color it's called, sorry. Sometimes I mix up in the names, but yes. And I did my increases only here in the shoulders, which makes this really nice part. And it's totally reversible. I made it totally reversible. I got these bubble sleeves. I made some heavy increases right here and some heavy decreases right here. And also I did this ruffled skirt. So, but you can, if you're interested in hearing more about it, I talk about it in episode 4. Yeah, and I got some earrings on today. Actually, I had planned on having some other earrings on, and I want to show them to you because they're really cute. They're from a Danish crafter that makes these. She calls herself ByFraus on Instagram, and they look like this. Quite big. I'm quite excited about those, but you can see maybe they were a little bit too crazy for this shirt, but I had actually planned on wearing them because they're so cute. And of course, everything I talk about, I put in references below, so you can find everything if you're interested in knowing more. Yes, and I didn't say much about like my name and all that, but I think perhaps I've said it a lot of times, so I didn't use time for it this time around. Okay, so let's move on. Yes, when I got into like right before all this corona, the ticket sale came out for the Fanø knitting festival, and already it's always held in September. It's on a Danish island, Fanø, and there's about 10,000 visitors for this festival. That's what I've heard anyway, and so it's quite popular. It's really hard to get to somewhere to sleep over on the island if you're not really quick to get a summer cottage to stay in. So after the festival last year, I decided to go and rent a summer cottage for this year's festival. So I had that all worked out, and I booked it a large one that has 6 beds, and I'm in a knitting group when we were supposed to figure out how to stay there, like if all of us So some of them are staying like 2 nights and some are staying 1 night, and like how it fits everyone. And everything was really exciting, and when the tickets got out, and we had this coordination going on to figure out if we were going to do something together, some of us, or how we were going to work it out. So that was a really exciting, like by the end of February and the beginning of March. And I also got this book where there's a lot of information about the different workshops and all that. And I ended up buying some workshops and some evenings, get-togethers and things like that. At this moment, it's not really exciting because we don't know if the festival will be held at all because of the corona. But the latest news I've had from Crystal Seifert, who does the festival, is that they are probably gonna have like they were want to sell less tickets to begin with. So if like they didn't say exactly a number, but like if they're able to have it, if there are like 1,000 guests, then they don't want to sell more than 1,000 tickets, so they can administrate that easier. I think that's actually a pretty good idea because, like, if they're able to have it, that would be great, even though it's not for as many people as it usually is, because it's their 15th anniversary and they're pretty excited about that. So it's like this really pretty cover in the book here, program. But anyway, if things work out and I'm going, I hope to be attending 2 workshops. One of them is workshop, it's called number 9. It's Fair Isle with glitter, color and structure. And I know some Fair Isle I've been doing. I viewed some different podcasts and I did some color work project. But it could be fun to see what that means by making it with structure, and I'm quite excited about that part. And also the glitter part is, as you know me, I like to put glitter in most of my projects. So there's not many projects I don't have some kind of glitter in it. So that's me. And then I have bought a ticket for workshop 37, which is a called Discovering Brioche Lace, and it's Nancy Marchant who is having that workshop, and it's like an extended. It's the 3rd workshop she's having during the festival, which this one is the most advanced one. And you are supposed to have certain skills to be able to attend this workshop. I think by this time I will be okay. And also, as I will tell in a moment, I did a brioche course. So I think I'm good. I'll be able to do it, and I'm really excited about this lace part. I heard about how she has developed this method in brioche. I didn't prepare this, but I saw her in a podcast by Fruity Knitting a couple of episodes back, where she's telling about this brioche lace technique she has developed, and it's quite exciting. So, and different. And even though she was explaining it in this podcast, and I tried to experiment with it, I can't figure out exactly what is going on. So I think this will be a really exciting workshop to attend. So that will be good. And then I have some social events I'm attending. There is a knitting cafe Thursday. The festival begins Thursday through Sunday in September, from the September 17th to September 20th. And on Thursday there aren't really any shops open, and it's really limited what is going on. But people are sometimes arriving that day, and there is this knitting cafe for the early birds, where you can go and meet some knitters and have cake and stuff. And we attended it the last time, and we had a really nice time there. Yes, I'm attending that. And then Thursday evening I'm attending another knitting cafe. It's in Fanø. They have a brewery, and so you can have different tastes of beer and a light dinner, I think it is, and then you can sit and knit, and you don't have to have tickets for the actual festival to attend this. So actually my parents is going to be in this summer cottage a few days before the Fanø festival, and I have bought tickets so they can attend this as well, so they can have a little taste of the knitting festival before they are returning home. And Friday is the last thing I bought ticket for. It's called the early bird dinner. There is an actor coming, a Danish actor coming and having speaking of something. I don't know exactly what it is, and there is a dinner, and I think there is some dancing and stuff. So yeah, I think that could be really fun to see what that is, because I didn't say this before, but I've been to the Fanø knitting festival twice now, and I find that the most fun part is when you are being social with someone. Otherwise it can seem to be just some different shops you go and look at, and yeah, you can get that done within a couple of hours. But the really fun part of being there is having some social time with other knitters. And so I definitely want that to be something that I can do this time around. Having the summer cottage and having the tickets for the social events and things like that, and just staying on the island, and that would be really nice. If you are interested in attending the festival, you can try and see if you can get tickets for it. And if you're worried about sleepover facilities, you can stay in the city that is right next to the island, called Esbjerg. There's some really good accommodations there. You can use Airbnb or hotels. You can find some cheap hotels actually, and you can go over with the ferry. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to sail to the island, and the ferry goes quite often. So I have done that before, and it can work really easy. So, but it's also nice to be on the island, I think. So yeah. And also I know that Crystal Seifert has talked about that you can use them to find accommodations on the island, because sometimes there are people that has an extra bed in a summer cottage that they can lend out for someone. And yeah, we are not fully booked in our summer house, but I don't want to open it yet for anyone, because I might get it full by the time that we get there. So I haven't opened up for that, but that is options that are for accommodations on the island. Yeah. I think that was what I wanted to say about that festival. This episode was going to be more about the festival, but as I don't know if it's going to be, then yeah, it's kind of sad when you have looked forward to it for so long, and yeah, we'll just have to see. But at this time in Denmark, they haven't come out with like how many people that can be together, but they have said that larger events can't be held. Larger events that are held until the end of August. So many concerts, music festival, things like that has been cancelled over the summer here in Denmark. So, but that is until August, and the Fanø festival is in September. So let's crush everything we have, toes and fingers, that it is going to be to something. Yeah. Enough about that. Yes, and then I did attend this Nancy Marchant course, and want to talk a bit about that. Not much, but she talked about it on Instagram that you could have this course for free on it's called myblueprint.com, and it was only for April 9th, I think, that the course was free. So I heard about the course, and I had been trying to use YouTube a lot for figuring out how to do beers. So I kind of put it out there. So I thought that I was never going to attend this course. But then she said that now it's for free. And so I rushed in to take the course, there was 2 courses. And one was like almost 5 hours, and the other one I think it was for 2-3 hours. Yes, and she gave a lot of different advice on brioche knitting, and most of it are new, but there were also things like how do you weave in ends, and how do you fix mistakes. She had a really good helping tutorial on that, and cast on methods, and also she showed different swatches where she used increases and decreases in certain places and certain directions and things like that, and she showed how different a pattern would look like depending on where you put these increases and decreases, and that was actually a really interesting part of the course. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the course anymore because it's not free anymore. So, but I did write some notes, and I can remember some of it. So that's good. I like that course, and if you're curious into brioche, I would recommend it. But the only thing you need to know before entering is that it's in English style knitting. She does show a bit of continental, but mostly in English, and I had difficulty figure out the throwing part of the yarn, where it went. So if you have issues on that, you may not want to use the course, but that's up to you now. I said it. I'm just gonna come back in 1 second. Yep, so I'm back. Yep, so the next thing I want to talk about is that I've become a test knitter for Stephen West, and how that came about is that I have been wanting to test myself and how I progress in my illness, if I'm getting better. There were a time where I felt a bit better in the beginning of the year, and then the coronavirus came, and now it's almost back to the same point where I can get really exhausted of nothing. So, but we have this thing in Denmark where you where the public authorities watch you and want to see if they can get you into a job again. And they have tried for a few times to start me out on some things, like there was this place where you can go and be creative in different ways. I don't want to get into that in whole detail, but anyway, the things they have offered me has been something that I haven't been feeling really good with, just to say it like that. And it's been hard to tell them couldn't you come with something that applies more to who I am and what I like to do. I think the success of me going to it would be better, even though I would be really, well, there's two things in it, because first of all, I haven't been in a place where it would give any meaning for me to be tested, because I've been worn down by so little things. Second of all, if I was supposed to go somewhere to be tested my abilities, then it at least should be something that is so something that really appeals to me, so I would get less affected by it and maybe be more motivated to come and again. And the people there has been really poor at finding things for me. And at the same time, I've been doing a lot of studying myself in knitting, and that doesn't really count for them, at least. I mean, the course with Nancy Marchant was, like at least 7-8 hours. I took that over a couple of days, and that doesn't count in their book. So, and that's really sad for me. But I've decided that now I just have to do my own thing and my own testing. For instance, I want to test if I can drink a beer sometimes, just because that was something that would make my brain freak out. Or if I could do a course, and now I figured that it could be beneficial for me to test if I could do this test knitting, because then I have a deadline, but it's not that important that I get it done by the deadline, because I don't get any paid for it. And I can take on the projects I want. I don't as few or as many I want, but the thing is that I could maybe the thing that I have to try and go and deliver to a deadline, and I have to write down all my comments, and I have to use a computer to write the comments to Stephen. And actually it's not directly to Stephen, but that's another story. But like all the things you have to do when testing, weighing all your yarns and figuring out how much yardage you have used, and the gauge and all that you need to reply to as a test knitter. I figured that could be good for me, because I can just say no if it's too much, and so it's not that bad a test, if you can say so. And another thing is that I knit so much Stephen West anyway, so this way I get the patterns earlier and have fun with it earlier, and I knit it anyway, so so I might as well be useful for someone, and it feels really good to be able to help someone with their thing. So that's why I ask, can you use me? So, and the answer was yes, and that was really fun. And I have been doing 2 test knits now, and the second one I finished yesterday. I can't show it, it's still a secret, but I can show you the one that I did the first, and you can see that in the back here. I'll just pull it forward. It's a Starflanket, and if you follow me on Instagram, you have for sure seen it. Oops, it's a large piece, so everything is falling down now. So I'm just gonna hold it up so you can see how gorgeous it is. And there are some section here with glitter in it, and it's really hard to see in pictures. I hope you can see it a bit. You have to look in this part with the it's a copper. What is it called? What it's called? It's Madeline Touch. They have a base with copper thread in it, and this one is called Glazed Pecan, and I held it together with a Filcolana Aweta yarn because it's knitted in DK weight, all of it. And so I held it together with that, and it's the colorway there is squirrel, so it's kind of got this really lovely color to it that I just absolutely adore. So it's really nice, and I won't walk you through all the yarns that I used. I have written the yarns on my Ravelry page, and you can see it more about it there. But what I really loved about knitting the Starflake shawl was that after knitting these parallelograms, I can't say that. Someone knitted, she's called Edla007 or something on Instagram. She did the next section here in mohair, and when I saw that, I unraveled my second section of the Starflake shawl to do the same. And when I saw this pattern coming out, I knew that I wanted to do something similar, so I found this really soft gray. It's a combination of yak and mohair, and I held that double, so it's really soft. And yeah, so I don't know what to say right now. But anyway, I'm really happy about this blanket, and if you have followed me on Instagram, you can see our cat is quite excited about it too. Fun thing is that it's laying over the back of the couch, and it's just like 10 centimeters or something, not even going into the seat of the couch, and he just managed to lay right on that little particular part of the blanket. It's so funny to see him. He looks so satisfied when he lays there. Someone has asked me if this project isn't really big and take forever, and I will say like this. First of all, you use a needle size 4.5 millimeter, which is a US size 7, and it's a DK weight yarn, and so the growth of it is larger than in a shawl. And when you bind off, you have less than 900 stitches, and that is a lot of stitches. I know that, but some of the really large shawls that Steven does also has almost the same amount of stitches. And I just knitted the Fantastitch shawl. I'll show you that in a minute. I did the small size of that, and there were about 700 or 800 stitches to bind off in the small size. So I was like, okay, if I do the large size, now I don't have the pattern, so I can't even tell you what the amount of stitch it was for the large size. But I mean, you will probably have to, if you do this, think about doing a really large shawl, and it's the same amount of work. And at the same time, when you knit in a round, it goes faster than keep turning your work to work the other side. So in a way, it's not that big of a job. The biggest job I found was doing the brioche part. That took like 4 or 5 days just to do this little section here, and didn't work on much else. But yeah, it took me 15 days, and I think I was really excited about it. First of all, I saw Steven work on it over Christmas, something like that. He had posted pictures, and I just knew that I wanted to knit it, because I just love knitting the shawl. So I knew that I wanted to knit this blanket. So as it was my first knit, I was quite excited. My first test knit. And I really quick found yarns for it, and I was really excited about knitting it. And yeah, I just wanted it to be knitted fast. And I love the colors. I don't know, you know that when you are really excited about the colors you choose and you can feel that they work together, you just knit faster in a way, because it just looks good. And these colors to me is like sitting with ice cream with chocolate and nuts, and it's just tasting really good. You just want to take a really good bite of it. So I don't know, I loved knitting this blanket. Yeah, so this is definitely one of my better projects. Yes. Oh wow, the time is going fast. I will be talking for a long time today, I think. I hope you are with me still. Okay, so I will go through my finished objects. That will probably be best. So the test knitting I will not talk about anymore right now, because I finished that. And yeah, sorry, the break. It just feels like sometimes you're blabbing really fast, and then you feel like, oh, you have to slow down so it doesn't be too confusing to listen to, and do you say everything and all that. That's kind of how it is. But yeah, let's talk about this piece behind me. It's the Enchanted Mesa, also designed by Steven West. And this one is totally reconstructed. So I'll just pull it a bit forward so you can see what I mean. So the pattern goes like this, that you have to pick your size that you want, and then find a similar gauge for it. So for instance, if you are a medium, you should knit with, I don't know, needle size 4.5 millimeters. And if you're larger, you go up needle size. If you're smaller, you go down needle size. So that's kind of how this was worked. But I don't like the version he has where the bottom of the sleeves starts right here, like if you look on me. And so I wanted this first section that you knit to end under my sleeves. So to be able to do that, I started on a real small needle size, which was, 3.5 millimeter, and that is 4 in US size. So I did follow the pattern to here, and then I changed to needle size 4 millimeter, and that is US size 6, to knit this part. And so far I followed the pattern, and also the sleeves follow the pattern. But then I did something else. I think I casted on a few more stitches under the sleeves, because I also wanted it to fit my size. Yeah, so I did have a bit more difference from the pattern here. And then on this section, I have to lift it up. I started wanting to knit it like a dress, so I wanted it to be knitted straight down instead of the pattern continues to be knitting like this way. You can follow me on that. So I wanted it to be knitted straight down. So to be able to do that, I did let me see, I think I did decreases on this side and decreases on this side, and then I did this mesh knitting with was striped 2 colors, 2 rows of each color, and doing the mesh part on only on the copper colored stripe. And then I had decided to do this really long dress with a, I think it's called a slit, where it opens up here in the side and then it just is open all the way down. I figured that could be really cool with a pair of jeans or something inside, underneath, and then just having this big sweater dress kind of just flowing down over my legs. And when I was parting for that, I did that here onto these bubbles I added. You can see that. And then, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I tried and I changed colors, and then it ended up laying in the back of the living room like for months, I think like 3 months, and I didn't touch it. It was totally dusty when I picked up the yarn. And then a friend of mine said, well, why don't you just knit it as a sweater and bind off and get it finished? So I was thinking about that, and then I ended up doing just like that. And so I looked into the pattern to see how the last section was done, and what was funny was that I actually was reading on this section here. I thought I was at the end of the pattern. So I ended up doing like short rows here with the blue, and there's 4 or 5 stitches between every turn. I can't really remember right now. And it actually evened it out pretty nicely, as you can see. It's not that longer on the other side. And it got this really cool holes on the bottom that it also has up here. So, and then I knitted the sleeves. They went really fast because it was just really fun just to, okay, I want to pick this color now. I'll knit a few rows and I'll take another color, and there weren't really any system to it, except for the colors I had put in my yarn basket. So I don't know, I'm really happy with this sweater. I've been wearing it a lot. The fit is perfect. It ends right under my sleeve or under my armpit, and it's amazing. I love it. But yeah, so what was actually a tragedy ended up really good. So I'm just gonna put this aside. Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, and also let's talk the Stephen West projects first here. I also finished the Fantastitch shawl, as I was saying, and it got quite crazy in the color scheme. I mean, it looked really good. At the beginning, I had found this. I have sometimes hard time figuring out what colors to that fit together. So I had this T-shirt with some print on it. I can't show you now, but it's in my. I can put a picture in here actually. I'll put a picture in here so you can see it. So it's a Prince T-shirt, no big surprise, and I figured that I needed a shawl that went with it, but I don't know. Now I don't like it. The colors are too crazy, so I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I tried to wear it just to see if I had got the hang of it, but it's not. Like, so these colors over here are just amazing. I love them. And it's totally surprising to me because I usually knit quite a bit of red colors, but I don't know, I left all the red out except for a small like pale peach here, but otherwise there are no red colors in there. I feel that this is my color scheme right now. My favorite color has just changed from red to blue-green. So, and this doesn't work for me. I think the pattern though is really fun and fantastic. Yeah, it's a great name for it. I think you should definitely try it out if you... it's got so many different techniques and different colors, and yeah, it's really fun. And it also got a bit of glitter in it here. I don't think you can see that, but it does. Yeah. Okay. That was a bummer. I'm actually a bit sad about it. But I hope there will come another project later on that will, in a way, put a bandage on this one. So, not my favorite. Sometimes that happens. Yes, and that was finished Stephen West projects. Then I have a own design, and I haven't shared pictures that much on Instagram because I'm actually trying to write a pattern. It goes really, really slow as usual, but I did some calculations right now. The biggest issue, I said that before, is like figuring out the different sizes. But I have used a women's chart that I got for free on sistersmountains.com, and you can go and look there too if you want to do a design. She does a lot of articles where she tells about how you can design your own things and calculate sizes and what things you have to be aware of, like to make it fit well and things like that. It's really helpful actually. So I did use her sizing chart, and I'm like 70% through that part. I need to do some checkups, and then I have to do the whole pattern writing, but you can get a peek of it here. So it looks like this, and it may look really straightforward, but if I turn it like this, you can see there are some effects in it. I did shadow knitting in this part, and if you're not, this is my first tryout with shadow knitting, and it's really fun. I will explain it in a minute how that works out. So if you look at the sleeve, what happens there? And the back. So shadow knitting is actually really easy. You knit 2 rows of one color, 2 rows of another color, and you knit like if I want the light color, as in here in the front, to be the color that sticks out when you turn it sideways or move it around, then the second row you knit the light color, you purl it. You purl the second round of the light color. So if I was going to explain this, I knit 2 rows dark color, knit 1 row light color, purl 1 row light color, knit 2 rows dark color, knit 1 row light color, purl 1 row light color. So when you get here on the sleeve, for example, you can see there is like kind of, I have to turn it right here. You can see there's kind of a line going across here, and how that works is that you change on a row which color you purl. So let's say right here you can see it. You knit 1 round with light color, and then you purl to this part with the light color, knit the rest over here, and then you purl again, and then you change to the dark color, you knit 1 round dark color, and then you knit this part with the dark color, and when you just gonna turn again, see if you can find it, you knit with the dark color, and then you purl some of the round with the dark color. So you have to kind of think that you change where you purl the row, and it's always on the second row of a color that you purl the row. Otherwise you would get like a really stripy effect, and it kind of looks cool on the inside too. You can see how it looks. And you can see here actually, oh sorry, no, that's only me, I can see it. But anyway, I think this one will be called Shadows, as in partly shadow and partly doves. I have a prince thing, you know that, so I had something, I had to put some doves in it to make it sound like Prince something. I don't know. So it was Shadoves. So do you like it? If you do, please let me know. I would love to hear what you think of it. And the fit is really tight here around the body, and it's a crop top. And then the sleeves are a little more fluffy and large. And you can play around with the colors. I did different light colors, but you could just use one, like the white color, and you can do whatever. I think it's kind of fun. So depending on how you stand, you can see the shadow. Yeah, I think that's quite exciting. I hope I will be able to publish this in the near future. But you know me. I'm also working on a own design of a shawl called the Matilda shawl. It's from my daughter. I do it with my daughter, but at the moment it's kind of in a standstill. When I did the Nancy Marchant Brioche course, I found out that I was doing my the instructions I have been writing is not right, so I have to change it, and there's a bit of work in that. And yeah, and also the shawl takes quite a bit of time to knit because it's all in brioche. But yeah, that's it. I won't talk more about that. There's a lot of things to talk about today. Oh, we almost through the things. Last time I talked about the trianglegram shawl. Now we will talk about the things that I haven't finished. Yes. So I talked about this one the last time, and I'm actually not gonna say a whole lot about it because I haven't knitted on it, so there's not much news to say about it. I still love the design, I still love the colors, but I haven't had time to do it. So, and at the moment I'm actually a bit unsure if I will ever wear these colors. So at the moment I think it better just lay still, and then I will decide later on if I want to continue or it's going to be frogged. And then I'm working on another Stephen West design, the Briyoke sweater. Looks like this, also by Stephen West. But I'm calling it the Briyoke reconstructed instruction, something like that, because I am changing quite a bit on it. I have been looking at some other people who has been knitting it, and one that I'm really inspired of, her name is Amelia, her Instagram name is Kindred Red. She has done one with really big balloon sleeves, and I want to do that. She also did a crop version. I want to do that as well. And then I have seen another knitter, Marion Strict. She's a German knitter. She has been doing it with where the sorry, it just turned off. But I saw where it turned off. Marion Strict has done the background color in the brioche knitting in a Surrey alpaca, and I think that's really cool, so I want to do that too. Then I also had thought about doing some slip stitches with some cables down in the raglan part here, so it kind of would look a bit like the Fantastitch shawl up here, where you can see there is these cabled slip stitches. I thought that was really cool, but I ended up not doing it because I had so many worries about colors, so there were kind of too many things going on in my head about things. And in brioche you really don't want to unravel if you're doing a mistake. And also when I was using the Surrey alpaca, it's not really easy to unravel easy because it's so sticky. So I decided just to do what the pattern said for at least the cast on part, and then I'll just see what was going on. And I actually did a you're supposed to do a long I-cord and then pick up stitches in it in the neck and then knit from those stitches, but I couldn't decide what color I wanted for this I-cord, so I instead I did a provisional cast on, so I had some live stitches that I could work an I-cord bind off, and I could change colors and try out what colors I wanted for the neck. And I have chosen a color now, but I'll show you. But I'm still not really sure about this pink color, so that might be changed. But so if you have to, maybe you should just not look at that. So the top yarn is a DK weight yarn from a Danish dyer, hand dyed DK, that I'm quite fascinated with. I love her yarns. Looks like this. And the bottom baby suri is from King Fiber, except for this top part. Just turn it inside out. This color is also a mohair that is from hand dyed DK that looks like this. I sometimes I get really crazy about colors, and then I figure out that I should have put something more supple in it to make the colors relax more, the bright colors relax more. And I think that is my biggest mistake with this shawl, is that there are too many bright colors, that there isn't much to settle it down to make it relax a bit. So I didn't want to do the same mistake in this sweater. And actually what was really fun in the beginning is that these two colors up here, I will hold them up, they are exactly the same colors as the two I used up here, except the bases are different. The green in the shawl is also a King Fiber, but a single spun fingering weight. And the purple one here is also a fingering weight from ByFraus. It's a Danish designer, and it's almost the same color as the purple over here. So when I found out that I was doing the same colors, I was laughing really hard. And also I was like, okay, shit, I have to, sorry, I'm cursing. I have to figure out how to settle these two colors down. So that's why I brought it in this one. But in a way, because it's brioche, it looks quite different. This section compared to the shawl. So at the moment I'm quite excited about this sweater, because I think the colors are really good. And then it changes the background color. That's my intention is to have this purple going on in the front all the way through, and then the background color is changing. And at the moment it's changed from this to this to this, and then I will add this one in the bottom. And for the sleeves it will be a bit different. It will go like this, and then this one, oh, turn it right, and maybe if I have some leftovers, this one. We'll see. But that's a plan anyway. And actually the back of it looks quite amazing right now, so I'm just gonna turn it inside out. So maybe I will wear it inside out. I think actually this is really, really pretty. Crazy, crazy. I love this color right here. It was so fun with knitting with, because I couldn't tell where the colors, if they were making these sections where all the pinks were gathering together and the greens gathering together, but I didn't know how that would work out. But I really like this one, and it didn't. It just felt totally natural. You can see how it looks really good. I did some changes in the design. I did do the, just gonna untangle all of this. I did the yoke a bit shorter than the pattern because I could see, I know I need about 22 centimeters. I don't know how much that is in inch, but I knew I had to have about 22 centimeters to get this part right before I separated for the sleeve and body. And sometimes I think his designs tend to be a little large on that part, so I was very careful not to knit it too large. And then I did a size smaller than small, meaning that I have to do increases here, like kind of a raglan increase next to these this shoulder seam, and I stopped one round before the small size were reached. I figured that now I had the right amount of stitches to get, like, I wanted more a fitted sleeve and a fitted fit around the bust. The pattern goes for a more positive ease. I didn't want that. I want a more fitted version. And now I'm actually doing something quite exciting, because if I can show you, I have started to make increases here in the bottom and decreases over here, because I wanted this part, the shoulder seam, to continue in an angle to the middle. It kind of looks like this sweater's design, where you can see kind of the shadow goes into the middle in an angle. It's kind of the same I want for this sweater. I think it looks kind of cool, and that's not in the pattern either. I can't show you right. I hope you can see it. It's just at the beginning. So it's a bit hard to knit this because I do have to, when I knit the background color with the baby story, it's a bit more sticky, so when it's not that flowy when you knit, so it's kind of, I struggle a little bit in my hands. It's a bit hard, but so you have to have something besides it, but it's really cool. I love this one already. It's gonna be a winner. And then for my next project, well, actually I have quite a lot of things I want to do, as all knitters do. And at the moment I'm really keen on casting on for this one here. It's called the Everdream top. I think that is so gorgeous, and it's knitted in, you can see it got kind of a fade from dark to light to dark, and then it's color work, but the color work is in a mohair, so it kind of has this, it stands out in a way in the pattern, and I think that is really lovely. The pattern is from Roos Vlaskamp. Sorry if I don't pronounce it right. And yeah, it's sad there aren't many people who has knitted this top, because it's really, really gorgeous. And I want to show you my colors. I have shown it on Instagram, but you have to see it live here. This will be my fade. And then I have chosen this one to be the colorwork color. I think that will be really pretty. So yes, I'm excited about that. I'm not supposed to cast this one on. I should finish more. But as I finished a testnet last night, I really hurried that up by the end, because then I could probably cast this one on soon. I feel I have to. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm also thinking about some other designs that on my own, and one has been in the making for quite some time, and I have only done the color, but I think maybe I should try and work more on that, but I won't show you because there's nothing really to show. And I can't really describe what I want, because I think that one is going to be design as you go project. But I think there will be some in contiguous and maybe some slip stitches in it, or maybe some shadow stitching, or I don't know. That will be a surprise. Yes. Wow. I think I have much to talk about today. Let's see what I've been through here. There's not so much left, but some. At the moment, there are a few people out there who is knitting my design yoga upside down sweater, and it's really fun to follow when someone is knitting my designs. And so I'm really happy that you share pictures. Please continue doing that. That is so much fun and really inspiring to see what else is coming out there. And I think I can show you one picture. Well, actually, I brought in the sweater just to show it live, because I looked through my episodes and I can't see that I've been showing it in any of my podcasts before, this yoga upside down sweater. But it seems quite popular though, so maybe I should talk more about it. So let me just show it in live here. So what is, it's kind of crazy in its colors, but it doesn't have to be knitted that way. But what is fun about this sweater is that it doesn't have a front or a back or a top or a bottom. This could be the front. This could be the front. This could be the front. Oh, sorry. This could be the front. This could be the front. There's 4 ways to wear it, which is actually really fun. And I call it the yoga upside down sweater. Upside down is because it could be worn upside down, of course. And the yoga is because, well, we got these mesh parts that you can get air through them. And it's just, sometimes when you do yoga, you just want something that is warm sometimes, and also you can get some breeze to it. So that's why I called it that. I did this design a year ago, and I was really fascinated by Stephen West's patterns. For instance, his Mild Magic sweater. I think that's what it's called, with a lot of sections that are put together and knitted from. So I kind of was inspired by that. So it started out by how can I wanted something that could be worn in different ways. And I was also a bit intrigued about how shoulder constructions could be. But it ended up being, I figured that if I knitted this square, then I could kind of work from there. So this mesh part is where I picked up stitches along the square and did mesh stitches up here. And the way that it gets this directions is, I've talked about that before, is how you do the knit together. Either you do a slip knit or you knit two together. And then if I turn it this way, it gets these kind of stripes that goes up. And that's really fun to see how the shape just occurs because you do a certain kind of stitch. And then it's the direction says that you don't you have to make sure that you don't knit it too far over, because you want this tip to end actually a bit into your shoulder, and then you can so it still rests on your shoulders when it's finished, but this part has to be the same size or bigger than your waist, so you would be able to flip it. But the pattern instructs you how to be able to do it if your measurements are different, that if your waist is larger than your shoulder tips here, it instructs you how you can knit the sweater anyway. So don't be scared if you're interested, you can do it anyway. But then you won't be able to turn it around though, so be aware of that. So, and then when you have done the front and back part, you gather the stitches together from the front and back, and you knit the sleeve also with increases, and you can see there's holes there, and you do a mesh part here for the ribbon. I think it's pretty cool actually. So, and there's a lot of opportunities to play with colors also. And when you've done the sleeves, you pick up stitches to do the neckband here, and you do pick up stitches here at the bottom. And the bottom is kind of fun too, because this is brioche again, but you can just do a plain 1x1 rib if you're scared of the brioche part. And the way this line has arrived or occurred, or whatever you say, is by doing a kind of a cable way of doing brioche. So it's just 4 stitches that are switched around 2x2 on every other or every 4th row, I think. I can't remember actually. And that's how you get it. And the idea was that when you flip it upside down, then you can have this other side coming down. You can hang it like different ways. It's kind of hard here, but you can see pictures of it on Ravelry and on my Instagram. It's called the Yoga Upside Down Sweater. And also I want to post a picture of a knitter who has knitted it. I'll put a picture in here. Her name is Clara Tyson. She's done this really beautiful version. You can see a picture here. And what was fun was that she wrote that a friend of hers called it the West Knits fan fiction sweater, which is actually a kind of fun term she used, because that's what it is. It is a West Knits fan fiction sweater. So that's really fun. I enjoyed having that information from her. Thank you very much, Clara. And I love your version. It's really pretty too. And also, if you don't like all these colors, I had it test knitted by Ina Holst. She's a friend of mine, and I'll put in a picture here of her version so you can see how that looks. And it's a really, really pretty version too, that is really supple, and it gives you an idea of how different this sweater can be knitted. So if you knit it, please share photos. That would be really fun for me to follow. Yes. Oh, there's so much today. One moment. Yes, I have a recommendation. And then I will talk about the giveaway and the quote, and then I'm done for today. The recommendation is that if you have followed Vogue Knit Live, there has been these fashion shows, and one of the knitters there, I had actually seen him before, but it was really fun to see him there at the fashion show. His name is Steve Tuxedo Punti. I think it's pronounced that way. He's from Barcelona, and he calls himself a knit artist designer. You can't really find any patterns, but you can hear about what his work is about in a Christy Glass podcast from March. She did a whole series she called Manch with men in her podcast, and he's in one of those podcasts, and he tells more about his work. But I will put in some photos here so you can see how he looks like. Oh, sorry, how his knitting is. And besides it's really colorful, it got really interesting structure, texture, and forms. And yeah, I think he is doing a wonderful job, and I'm just excited to see what else he can create. He's really inventive and has some really great ideas, and yeah, it will be really fun to follow what comes out of his head. Yes, and then for more, it's mostly for Danish knitters. I also have a recommendation because one friend of mine, which is in my knitting group, is opening a yarn website store May 1st, and her name is Connie, and her website's name is yarnforward.dk. She I can really recommend her. She's been doing a lot of work in trying to reinvent what a yarn store could contain of items, and she has made a lot of collaborations with like small Danish crafters and doing all kind of knitting accessories and also yarn dyers. And she has a really fun and interesting and different collection. So I would really recommend you to go and check her website out. From May 1st, she is online. Yes, that's for the recommendations. And then I have decided to do a giveaway. And we are going to the end of this podcast because last time I asked to get more interaction from you guys, and you know how many has responded to that? 0. So yeah, okay, that was a flop. That's not gonna work, so let's move on. So I have thought about how to get more to be interested in my podcast, because I think I have something really unique to show in my podcasts, with all my colors and constructions and all that. So I really would like it if I could get more viewers to it. So the giveaway is that I wanna give away these 3 Addi needles. They are 40 centimeters or 16 inches long, and they are, one is 3.5 millimeter, which is a US 4, one is 4 millimeter, which is a US 6, and one is 5 millimeter, which is a US 8. And I will send this to a lucky winner of my giveaway, and I will send it no matter where you are in the world, so you can attend no matter where you are. But to join this giveaway, I have decided that I will draw a winner. And what you have to do is you have to do a recommendation of me, preferable on Instagram. You have to make a recommendation on my YouTube podcast or my Instagram podcast, and I will give you a lot, or a ticket, or whatever you call it, for each recommendation. If you do one for both my Instagram profile and one for my YouTube channel, you will get 2. So you will be able to get 2 lots in this giveaway. And I will do it the old-fashioned way. I will write your name, your Instagram profile name on a note and put it in a bowl, and I will draw from that bowl. So like, totally old-fashioned. I think that's a fun way to do it. So and I would like to get 200 subscribers here on my YouTube channel, and when I reach the 200 subscribers, I will make the draw. So anyone can attend, and I don't know when the draw will be. That will depend entirely on when I reach the 200 subscribers. So please help me to get more known out there. I think I do have something really special to show, and yeah, so that's a giveaway. I think you will find it really good. I think it's a really cool needles. So go on and see if you can make some recommendations. Yeah. And I had a few other things I could talk about, but I'm not going to do that today. We need to have a quote of the day, because that is my thing. I need to make a quote. And the quote I have for you today is one that I'm just going to say. I'm not going to analyze on it. I'm going to say it and then leave you to think a bit about it. And then I'll tell you what it is afterwards. The quote is, "The only love there is the one we make." The only love there is the one we make. It comes from a Prince song, not surprisingly. The song is called "The Love We Make." And I think maybe you can get out of it what I'm thinking. And we really need it in this world today. So, yep. I think that is the end of this. I'm sorry I'm looking down all the time. I'm just looking at my notes to be sure I've been saying everything I want to say. And I have, so it was a really long podcast, and I will say goodbye. Thank you if you have watched me all the way. It's been a really nice podcast this time around. I have had lots to show. If you like what you've seen, please give me a thumb up. And if you don't like it, please don't make a thumb down. I don't like having those. Please just don't do anything. Just give me a thumb up if you like it or not. And also please subscribe if you are new to my podcast. I would really enjoy it. And if you are lucky, you will be the one that gets the giveaway. So don't hesitate. So have a really nice day, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.